football on ABC, presented by Buffalo Wild Wings.
It feels like a fall football Saturday here in Madison, where the Wisconsin Badgers are looking for a bounce back. They suffered a heartbreaking loss last week in Lincoln. Today, though, Wisconsin's Big Ten home opener here at Camp Randall Stadium, where the Badgers have won 19 in a row, the second longest home win streak in the nation. And it is no wonder, with these Badger fans creating one of college football's best atmospheres. And we welcome you inside Camp Randall and welcome you to ESPN College Football here in Madison. It's a Big Ten conference matchup between Illinois and Wisconsin. Bob Wischusen and Danny Kanell and Maria Taylor here with you in a sea of red and a wide open year in the Big Ten. Both of these teams off to an 0-1 start in the conference, but this is anyone's race.
And both teams coming off heartbreaking losses, so this is an open day for anybody. Both teams very optimistic they can get it back on track with a win today.
There's no question that Wisconsin more optimistic than you might think. We'll talk about that in just a moment, but here come the Wisconsin Badgers. Force today, but an uneasy feeling in this Wisconsin fan base. I think they took for granted that Montee Ball was going to put up Heisman Trophy numbers again this season, and that has not been the case.
Well, the expectations were very high for this Wisconsin team. The Heisman finalists returning. You figured, hey, it's Wisconsin, they'll run the football, right? Well, this team is ranked 96th in the country in rushing. They have got to solve some of their problems up front if they want to come out with a win today.
But still a sense of optimism for Wisconsin.
Yeah, it was interesting sitting with Brett Bielema yesterday. You know, you talked to him and he said, hey, there was a lot of young talent on this team, and you look at the roster, you see the type of guys they put in the NFL. 12 guys from last year's squad, more than any other team in the country playing in the NFL today, but he is very optimistic about the young talent on this team.
Now, should Illinois be optimistic as well? They have their quarterback back and healthy finally.
Well, he is the focal point. Nathan Scheelhaase, their quarterback, much like Montee Ball for Wisconsin. Scheelhaase is the offensive juggernaut for this Illinois team, but he's been hampered by an ankle injury, and he's a dual threat at the quarterback position. When he's not fully healthy, it affects his play and it affects this Illinois offense.
Also for the Illini, a new coach and a new culture as well.
Yeah, Coach Todd Beckman, you know, another guy very optimistic about this team, trying to change things up a little bit there in Illinois. But he pointed out, hey, look, the last 4 out of the last 10 Big Ten champions have come from teams that started 0-1 in conference play. So using that a little bit as a motivation factor for his team.
Well, Maria Taylor is the third member of our broadcast crew, and she's on the field with Brett Bielema.
Coach, your team led by as much as 17 points last week. What are you hoping they learned in that Nebraska loss that they'll be able to use today?
Well, last week we came out of that locker room with a lot of energy. The kids had a lot of fun. I think because of the way the season started, we kind of lost sight of just having some fun. So we practiced that this week. I think they'll come out and run around pretty good.
And running back Montee Ball, he's your leading rusher, but only averaging 3 yards per carry. What does it take to get him into an early rhythm today?
Well, I think the big thing is we got to play on time, play ahead of the chains, have success on first down, stay in our game, and obviously look for those big runs.
All right, and Joel Stave, he's getting the start for you, second time in a row. What has the redshirt freshman shown you that's locked up that starting position for him?
You know, he's been consistent. He's the same guy every day at practice, every guy out there during the game, and excited because his best football's in front of him.
All right, thanks, Coach.
All right, Maria, thanks very much. The kickoff in just a moment, Illinois and Wisconsin. It's an ESPN College Football in the Big Ten between Illinois and the Badgers. Both of these teams looking for a bounce-back win in Week 2, and both of these teams looking to get their respective offenses on track. Danny Kanell, it has not been pretty so far for the Illini or the Badgers.
You ask any coach around, and they're going to say, how do you win ball games? You get your ground game going. I think that's a big deal. That's why both these teams have struggled early on. They've been inefficient running the ball.
Wisconsin won the toss, deferred their option to the second half, so it will be the Illini that will begin with the football. Jack Russell will send it deep. Josh Ferguson to return, and this a returnable kick from the goal line. Out across the 20 to about the 23-yard line. Kyle Zuliger made the tackle on special teams. And a closer look now at Nathan Shieldhouse, the junior, looking to improve on the numbers he's put up so far this season.
Well, he's had a rough start, but you can't blame him. He's been hampered by an ankle injury. The coaches say he's 98% back today. When you're a dual threat quarterback, you've got to have that ability to make plays with your legs, or else you become one-dimensional.
And it's a different offense with Tim Beckman coming in as the head coach, Chris Speedy and Billy Gonzalez sharing the offensive coordinator duties. And they are spreading things out with Shieldhouse, who seems like a pretty good spread quarterback. He flips it right to Ferguson. And he is gang tackled after a gain of maybe a yard. Check that, Donovan Young. It'll be 2nd down and long coming up for Illinois. The pistol on 2nd down and long. It's Donovan Young up the middle for about 3 yards. Gang tackled at the 26. It'll be 3rd down and about 7 as we take a look at the Illinois impact players, brought to you by Chick-fil-A.
Well, their best deep threat potential is wide receiver Ryan Langford. He's a speed demon on the outside. And then defensively, Michael Buchanan, he's first-round talent at that defensive end position. And the linebackers are shored up by Jonathan Brown.
Ryan Langford is the widest man to the near side left on 3rd down and 7. He leads the team in receptions, yards, touchdowns, averaging just a shade under 70 yards receiving per game. Under some pressure is Shieldhouse. He escapes the rush. With a pump fake, he'll come up short of the 1st down by a yard. Chris Borland eventually was there to help bring him down. Darius Hillary came on a safety blitz and flushed Shieldhouse out of the pocket. So it's 3 downs and out to start for the Illini, and Wisconsin will get the football. Denzel Doe back deep to receive the punt. Justin Duvernois last year averaged about 38 yards per kick. This year so far 42 yards through the first 5 games. And Doe can't make the first man miss, lost the football. And dives back on top of his own mistake inside the 20-yard line. Viangelo Bentley timed it perfectly and knocked it out of the hands of Kenzel Doe. So Wisconsin avoids an early disaster, and they'll start inside their own 20-yard line. So now a chance to take a look at the former walk-on redshirt freshman Joel Stave, a quarterback that Brett Bielema has such high hopes for. It's amazing to think this is a young man that only received scholarship interest from MAC schools.
Yeah, and when you look at him, he's your prototypical Big Ten quarterback. Big, physical, strong arm young man.
He'll be helped out of Monte Ball. Looks like Monte Ball again. And much as has been the case through the first few weeks for Wisconsin, Ball goes backwards, losing a couple of yards on 1st down. Eaton Spence was there to lead the charge for the Illini. It'll be 2nd down and long.
Eaton Spence, the cornerback, came there off the edge, was able to get in the way of Monte Ball. Looked like a basketball defensive player there on the outside defending that rush.
Well, Monte Ball last season led the nation in rushing yards. This year, coming into today, he's only 7th in the Big Ten running the football. And behind the chains is Wisconsin. That puts Stave on an underneath throw of about 5 yards to Jordan Frederick. It will be 3rd down and a long 6 coming up for Wisconsin as we take a look at the Badgers impact players, brought to you by Chick-fil-A.
Well, Monte Ball, obviously the centerpiece of this Wisconsin offense, but Jared Abbrederis, a nice wide receiver, another option for Stave to go to. And then defensively, Mike Taylor having an impressive year next to Chris Borland at that linebacker position. There's a look at Abbrederis, former walk-on. Man, he really runs some nice routes. Knows how to set up defenses, too.
3rd down and 6. The blitz picked up. Underneath, it's Abbrederis. Reaches for the 1st down marker and can't get there. So it'll be a 3 and out for Wisconsin. And already the 2 offenses living up to the statistical profile we showed you at the start, as they have struggled mightily, both of these teams, to move the football.
Yeah, a couple of 3 and outs by both teams. But, hey, you could say the defense is doing a nice job, too, though.
Tommy Davis back deep to receive the punt. And Drew Meyer, third in the Big Ten so far. Boy, he drew raves from Brett Bielema when we were talking about his performance so far this year. He has been a field position changer for Wisconsin. Although a wobbly kick here. This will take a Badger bounce, and this will work out beautifully for the red and white all the way down to about the 22-yard line. It was ugly, but it got the job done. 51-yard punt from Meyer. We'll step aside. The Illini back to the offense when we return. If you have followed Illinois and Wisconsin so far this season, probably not surprised we're off to a slow offensive start. Bob Wischusen, Danny Cannell, Maria Taylor here in Madison. 2 3-and-outs. Second opportunity for the Illini. Shieldhouse, quarterback draw, gets tripped up, lost about 1.5 yards. It'll be second down and long as we take a look at Danny Cannell's Illinois keys.
Well, for Illinois, they have 14 turnovers. That's last in the Big Ten. They have got to stop shooting themselves in the foot. And then defensively, hey, it sounds easy. You got to stop Montee Ball. Easier said than done, though. But if they can control him, they should have a much better chance of success today.
Well, they did a terrific job of that the first set of downs, but couldn't change field position, and now second down and long back near their own 20-yard line. Play action for Shieldhouse. Wants to set up a screen, instead flips it down the sideline, and running under it is Darius Malines with a first down catch.
Beautiful job by Shieldhouse. Knowing he had a zone blitz, there was pressure coming. And then you're going to see the corner route by number 15, the slot receiver. Outside receiver number 12 clears out the defensive back. Shieldhouse placed it perfectly on the sideline.
Only the 4th catch of the season for Darius Malines, who had missed 4 games with a foot injury. He is a welcome addition to an offense that has struggled. The backside screen set up for Ferguson. Makes a move up the sideline, drags the tackler into plus territory. It's another first down for the Illini at the Wisconsin 47-yard line. 16 more for Josh Ferguson.
I think that's what Illinois is going to have to do this afternoon. Find creative ways to get the ball in the hands of their playmakers, especially their backs. Number 6, Josh Ferguson, who caught that one, and number 5, Donovan Young. There are a couple threats in the backfield. Just have to find ways to get them the ball.
Straight up I formation. Another different look for Illinois. Josh Ferguson dots the I. He takes the handoff. And not much there. Maybe a yard. David Gilbert was there first for Wisconsin. It'll be second down and 9.
I think that's where Illinois will struggle this afternoon. Wisconsin has 2 guys. Their 2 defensive tackles are 6'3", 335 pounds, and 6'6", 319 pounds. That is a lot of load up front for their offensive linemen to move around. So I think they're going to have to hit the edges a little bit more.
As we showed you earlier, Illinois 11th in the Big Ten and 89th in the nation running the football. So it's been second and long, third and long often. They'll keep it on the ground with a trap. And another yard only for Ferguson. Mike Taylor brought him down. So after 2 chunk plays to get into plus territory for the Illini, now they've got third down and 8 at the Wisconsin 45.
It's such a tougher task for a quarterback, for an offense, to convert third and longs like this than a 3rd and 2 or 3.
Out of the pistol, jumping into the neutral zone is Borland. And was that a false start that was induced, or are they going to get neutral zone infraction on Borland?
Right tackle Graham Posick, he was pleading his case, saying, hey, I was forced to jump off sides.
Offside, defense number 44, causing the offensive man to move. 5-yard penalty, down remains 3rd.
Chris Borland was getting antsy up around the line of scrimmage. Looked like he was trying to time up the snap.
Well, Chris Borland, last year, first team all Big Ten, 143 tackles. This year, 2nd for Wisconsin in tackles, 7th in the Big Ten. So he's an impact player, but that penalty sets up 3rd down and 3. Shieldhouse well protected, slings it to the sideline. It's a low throw, but it looks like it was scooped up. That's a first down catch. Spencer Harris with a 5-yard gain and a third down conversion for Illinois.
Nathan Shieldhouse, who has struggled really to get into a rhythm because he hasn't been able to play to his full strength. Off to a solid start here today. Looks very comfortable. Doesn't look like his ankle is bothering him at all.
And they might go up to the booth and review whether or not it was a clean catch by Harris and whether or not he was up against the sideline as well. Was he in or out when he made the catch? That might be what replay is going to have to determine.
The ruling on the field was a catch inbounds and then stepped out of bounds. The previous play is under further review.
So we'll have to take a look as Harris, right up against the sideline, went down to make the catch. Did he keep his feet off the sideline when he made the reception? Obviously, you can't tell from that angle. This might give you an idea. Knee in bounds. That looks like a good catch.
I give it to him. I think it's a catch. I think the ball was possessed. Well, I think the back part of his legs were up in the air, out of bounds. I think he came down with this catch in bounds.
Now, did the ball make contact with the field? It looks like he's got his arms under the football.
I think everything from our vantage point with these replays says it will be a catch. Plus, you got to remember, it's got to be clear that it has to be overturned. I don't think you're seeing that clear evidence that certainly it was not a catch.
On the field stands.
Yep. That was pretty nuts. Usually when you see him come back quick, back with a review, that means it was an easy decision for them too. So nice job by the officials.
Well, the replay has to be indisputable, and it's hard to say that we saw any indisputable evidence to overturn a completion. So Shieldhouse off to a 4-for-4 start, and this the 7th play of the drive for Illinois. 1st and 10. Play action for Shieldhouse, looking for the home run, and this is way over the head of Ryan Langford and out of bounds. It'll be 2nd down and 10 after we check in with Robert Flores.
All right, Bob, Taco Bell studio update. TCU is down early at home to Iowa State. Number 15 Horned Frogs playing their first game at home as a member of the Big 12. Jared Barnett to Josh Lenz, touchdown Cyclones, and they're driving, looking for more. Remember, Casey Paul not playing for the Horned Frogs after his arrest this week.
Iowa State, a surprise team out there in the Big 12, playing very good football this year.
2nd down and 10. High snap pulled down by Shieldhouse. Traps one to Donovan Young, and he picks up 3. It'll be 3rd down and 7. Borland and Gilbert combine on the tackle for the Badgers. So again, another 3rd down coming up, and Wisconsin has been pretty good so far this year. 31% in opponents' 3rd down conversions. That's 3rd in the Big Ten, and it's 3rd and long.
Also, I think they're kind of in a territory here where even if they don't get it, they might think about going for it in 2 plays on 4th down. They've been using these stack sets by the wide receivers, trying to get clean releases for their
4-man rush. Shieldhouse steps up. The pocket forms. Now he escapes. Gets to the sideline, trying to dodge tacklers, and he'll be about 3-4 yards short of the 1st down. Darius Hillary pinned him up against the sideline. So now, Danny, you're in that gray area. 4th down and about 4. From here, you're looking at a 45 to 47-yard field goal, depending on where they spot the football. And it looks as if they're going to try a long field goal.
Now, it also depends on your kicker, too. How much confidence do you have in your guy that he can make a long field goal?
Taylor Zaleski this year, his long is 47, so this would equal his long through the first 5 games to try and get Illinois on the board. And that is going to miss badly. So Wisconsin gets the stop on defense, and we are still scoreless here in the 1st.
ESPN's College Football on ABC, brought to you by Buffalo Wild Wings. Wings, beer, sports. Verizon, share everything. It's the plan that revolves around you, only from Verizon. And the new 2013 Ford F-150 with EcoBoost.
It is that corn maze pumpkin patch time of year. Schuster's Farm, one of the many in the Madison area, popular with the young and the young at heart as well. And we've got pumpkins on the scoreboard so far. 0-0 between Illinois and Wisconsin. Second offensive possession for the Badgers. They went 3 downs and out on their first, and James White in the game at tailback to start this drive. He takes the handoff. White finds a crease, powers his way for about 6 yards, sets up 2nd down and 4 as we take a look at Danny Cannell's keys for Wisconsin.
Well, when you think of Wisconsin, you think of ground and pound running game. That's what they've got to do. They did right there, get that offensive line going. And then defensively, they've got to keep Nathan Shieldhouse in that pocket. Don't let him beat you with his legs. Force him to beat you with his arm.
A lot of pre-snap shifting for the Badgers. 2nd down and 4, they go empty. Stavi wanted the slant left, right at the 1st down marker. He has a completion, and that will move the chains for the first time for the Badgers. Sam Arneson, the tight end, made the reception, and now we take a look at maybe one of the determining matchups in this game. Michael Buchanan, 2nd team All Big Ten at defensive end last year, going up against the former walk-on at left tackle, Ricky Wagner.
Well, Michael Buchanan is a 1st-round talent. A lot of draft experts have him pegged to go early in that 1st round, so you're going to have to make sure you don't let him beat you this afternoon, and that job is Rick Wagner's.
Counter handoff. There's more room for James White. That's another Wisconsin 1st down as he is brought down at the 49-yard line of Illinois. So.
And a lot of people might be surprised, say, hey, where's Montee Ball at this point of the game? It's still early. This was clearly part of Wisconsin's game plan, was kind of lighten the load off his shoulders, let some of the other backs get work, keep everybody fresh. That's why you're seeing a little bit more of James White.
Well, James White was a 1,000-yard back in 2010 as a freshman. Last year, he gained over 700 yards and scored 6 touchdowns in spite of all the great numbers that Montee Ball put up. And he stays in the game. Off a play-action fake, Stavi steps up in the pocket, dodging tacklers, flags all over the place as Stavi is brought down right at the line of scrimmage. Well, it looks like this might be holding in the offensive backfield for Wisconsin. Jonathan Brown was there to bring down Stavi, but it will be holding against the Badgers. And
there was a little miscommunication in the backfield there, too. Stave went the wrong way.
Turn to play, holding. Number 79, offense, 10-yard penalty. Repeat, 1st down.
There's Stave or the back. There was supposed to be a play-action pass. The play was rough from the start. It got worse there with the holding call.
Well, talking with Brett Bielema about Joel Stave, he mentioned his composure. He's the calmest kid in the world. Even after the loss last week, when he got roughed up at Nebraska, Bielema saw him in the hallways this week, and his first reaction was, how much fun was that game? That was just great. I've never had more fun playing football. He said he loves that innocence. Not much there for James White. Glenn Foster brings him down for a loss of a yard. It'll be 2nd down and 20 as they'll say White got back to the line of scrimmage. And we have 3 top 10 teams headlining our ESPN primetime coverage later on tonight. Aaron Murray and the 5th-ranked Dogs will head into Gamecocks country to take on Marcus Lattimore and number 6 South Carolina. Then Washington and Oregon. Primetime college football presented by Hampton Hotels tonight on ESPN and also live. Watch ESPN as well at 7 and 10:30. 2nd down and a mile. Stavi with a play-action fake. Fires one up the seam, and Aberderis is there to bring it in for a gain of about 13 yards. It's still 3rd down and long, but at least 3rd and manageable now.
That's all you want to do when you have a 2nd and long situation, is just give yourself a fighting chance on 3rd down, and that's exactly what Wisconsin did there, bringing this back to a much more manageable situation. You know, you talked about Joe Stave. I watched that game last week, and a lot of times I like to just watch a quarterback's eyes, his composure, what is his attitude on the field, and you can just see why Brett Bielema is so big on him. Very confident, very composed and poised in the pocket.
Jared Aberderis in motion to the short side of the field. Stave wants to go right there, and it's an errant throw. Aberderis had turned and was open for what would have been a 1st down. Ashante Williams was back in coverage, but Stave, his first incompletion, and he misses a chance to keep the drive alive, so Wisconsin will have to punt.
Yeah, Aberderis was facing press man coverage. A lot of times when those corners get up, there's a lot of contact early. Throws that timing off just a little bit. I'm pretty sure that's what happened there between Stave and Aberderis.
Drew Meyer with the intentional end-over-end kick to try and kill it inside the 20, and he does just that, forcing Tommy Davis into a fair catch just shy of the 15-yard line. Illinois back to the offense in a scoreless game.
You're watching ESPN College Football on ABC, presented by Buffalo Wild Wings.
Right down the street from Camp Randall, the Capitol building here in Madison. This is a terrific town. Always one of the best destinations for college football every year, and Illinois and Wisconsin have packed the house here as the students are still filing in. You can see up on the upper left, enjoying their tailgates. Big Ten opener for Wisconsin, and Shieldhouse slings one to the near side, wide open. Matt Lacoste, the tight end. He has a first down, a gain of 12, and Tim Beckman sees his team move the chains. In his first year as the head coach of the Illini, head coach at Toledo for the last 3 years, but Danny Cannell, he has BCS conference level assistant experience, and he's trying to instill a new culture for Illinois football.
And it's always a challenge when you come in and maybe say you practice differently or your coaching style is not the same way it was. There's always a learning curve with your team.
Donovan Young tries a cutback. It's not there.
You know, and these teams, you know, last year you look at Illinois, they won 6 games and they lost 6 in a row to finish the season, and now they had higher expectations than the way they played this year, and their defense has not lived up to those expectations. And we asked Tim Beckman about that, and he said, look, I had a 3-game losing stretch my first year at Toledo, so I've been there. I'm used to this. I know there are going to be some growing pains. We just have to find our way through it, and still their goal is still there for them, right in front of them.
Second down and 10. Shieldhouse out of the pistol. Play action fake. Blitz comes. It gets picked up, and there's a running lane for Shieldhouse. He's about 4 yards shy of a first down or so. Bryce Gilbert tripped him up. It brings up 3rd down and 4. But you mentioned Tim Beckman. He gave out bracelets to all of the kids on the team, and the bracelets said 12-1-12 Lucas Oil. Yep. Signifying the Big Ten championship game, and why shouldn't that be our goal? That's what he said. And he also, as you mentioned in the open, pointed out to his kids that they lost last week at home to Penn State, but that 4 out of the last 10 Big Ten champions have lost their conference opener. So they are not giving up on what they think their goals this year should be. 3rd down and 4. Shieldhouse throws across his body, almost intercepted. Chris Borland had perfect coverage underneath on the backup quarterback, Miles Osei, who subs in at slot receiver, sometimes an H-back. He's a versatile player, but Borland there to break it up. And with a half minute to go in the first quarter, it will be a punt situation again for Illinois.
I'll tell you, Chris Borland, great job recognizing that route. They say he's the best athlete on that entire defense. Showed why there, just instincts, recognizing where that ball was going and breaking up the pass.
Duvernois tries to angle one to the sideline. A high wobbly kick and a fair catch called for and made out of bounds by Kenzel Doe. So pretty good field position for the Badgers with 27 seconds to go in the opening quarter after a 40-yard punt just inside their own 30-yard line. And Borland had a chance to talk to him yesterday. He is on the watch list for the Bednarik Award, the Butkus Award, the Nagurski and Lott Awards as well. And you know, Chris Ash, one of the co-defensive coordinators, told us about Chris Borland that he is the closest thing you'll get now in college football to the true throwback. You know, we asked him about his injuries and what he's playing through, so which one do you want to know about? Yeah. I've got a lot of them.
Last week there was a big question mark whether he would play or not. Found a way to tough his way into that game.
Trap handoff to Melvin Gordon on first down. Might take us to the end of the first quarter. He only picked up maybe a half yard. Jonathan Brown was there to make the tackle. He led the Big Ten in tackles last season. And a less than eventful first quarter will come to an end here at Camp Randall.
They're still feeling each other out, Bob. They're still going to make some adjustments. The offenses.
And we'll step aside. No score here in Madison as we head to the second. It feels like college football this weekend here in Madison. We've got a wind chill factor. Cloudy skies, temperatures sub 50 degrees at kickoff, and will only get colder throughout the afternoon. But
it's like Big Ten football.
It is Big Ten football. And a scoreless first quarter without any explosion plays. Stabby, or check that out of the shotgun with a flag down, a quick hitch to the far side, and we'll have to check the penalty. Curt Phillips in there at quarterback to throw the quick out to the far side. But again, we'll have to check the flag.
Defense, offside, 26. 5-yard penalty, replete, second down.
Bob Wischusen and Danny Kanell, Maria Taylor here with you at Camp Randall in Madison. The lead story, certainly for either of these two teams, has been the ineffective offenses, but particularly for Wisconsin. What do they have to do to get Montee Ball going?
Well, the obvious question is they have to block better up front, give him more holes to work with. But I think they could help him by opening up the playbook a little bit, doing some more first down passing. Right now, teams are loading up that box to shut him down. And now you're seeing the third quarterback this season taking meaningful snaps for Wisconsin. So clearly they have some serious issues they're dealing with.
So Curt Phillips in at quarterback, tried to run a sprint out. It looks like Stabby is coming back on. We were given no indication yesterday from Brett Bielema or Matt Canada that there would be a quarterback change at any point today. Curt Phillips, though, getting a couple of snaps. Stabby back in now, and this is a tough hand for Stabby to be dealt. Third down and 7.
This is the problem I have with two quarterback systems. You're sitting on the bench, you come into a 3rd down and 7 situation facing a blitz.
And Stabby rifles one up the seam, and it's intercepted right into the hands of Steve Hull. Hull down the sideline, lowers his shoulders, and he's inside the 30, out of bounds at about the Wisconsin 27-yard line. A 17-yard return. And there is the first impact play made by either team here in the first half.
Where's the linebacker? We'll see the linebacker come 3 up the middle. You see him, number 43, drills Stabby right before he throws it. Ball gets away from him. That's Steve Hull, the safety. But that's why I'm not a fan of it. You're sitting on the bench. It's hard enough to play quarterback every down, to try to find that rhythm. But coming off the bench after watching the offense for 2 downs and coming into a bad situation, it is tough to find your rhythm.
Mason Monheim, the true freshman middle linebacker for Illinois, got the pressure on Stabby, forced the high throw. Hull gets the pick. And now Illinois already inside the 30-yard line as they marked Hull out at the Wisconsin 28.
See if they take a shot here.
Play action fake, dropping back and firing one down the sideline is Shieldhouse. He finds Ferguson on a little wheel route, and it's 1st and goal at the 5-yard line.
So many times you like to take that shot after a turnover. You've got momentum. Everybody's sort of fired up from the defense, so you try to thrive off of it. Watch the back come out of the backfield, runs up the sideline, then turns it up. All Shieldhouse does in the backfield, pokes it in the belly. Just enough time for those linebackers to suck up just a second. And if Shieldhouse had put that ball out a little bit more, probably would have scored a touchdown. But nonetheless, a huge play for Illinois.
1st and goal at the 5. Play action again for Shieldhouse. Under some pressure. He's got room to run with a pump fake and a cutback. Shieldhouse at the goal line. He's in. Touchdown Illini. And they take the interception and turn it into 6.
Here's a look at Shieldhouse coming out on a rollout play action pass. Nothing is there. That's the dimension he gives you. Avoiding a defensive end, keeps pressuring the line of scrimmage. He is playing at 98% and yet laying 100% of his body on the line. Takes it in for the touchdown himself. That's why Shieldhouse is the clear leader of this Illinois team.
And a day that began with optimism for Brett Bielema now has his team down by a touchdown early in the 2nd quarter. The turnover costs the Badgers. And the Illini looking for their first ever Big Ten win for their new coach, Tim Beckman. They've got the lead. Nathan Shieldhouse with a couple of pump fakes. He's got his team on the board.
You're watching ESPN College Football on ABC, presented by Buffalo Wild Wings.
Aerial coverage being provided by the MetLife Blimp. See how MetLife can provide the coverage you need. MetLife, I can do this. Bob Wischusen, Danny Cannell, and Maria Taylor here in Madison. Nathan Shieldhouse with the touchdown run of 5 yards. And that turns the turnover into points. Steve Hull gets the interception. Shieldhouse the touchdown run, in the Illini with the early 7-0 lead. Melvin Gordon will let the kickoff sail out of the back of the end zone as we take a look at our Pacific Life game summary. And basically the entire summary of the first half can be summed up so far in the interception that sets up the touchdown, as Montee Ball again quiet. 1 carry, -2 yards, and we're already into the second quarter.
Well, we talked about 2 players at the open. One was Montee Ball for Wisconsin. The other was Nathan Shieldhouse. You see the impact they're having on this game. One, it's a positive impact, and the other, it's a lack of impact.
Montee Ball will line up in the offset eye right on first down as Shieldhouse gives his team the early lead. Stavy play action, swings it in the right flat, caught by Derek Watt. And he has a 9-yard gain. It'll be 2nd down and 1 after we check in with Robert Flores.
All right, Bob, Dr. Pepper 10 conference update from the ACC. Georgia Tech is off to their worst 5-game start since 2003, but they're off to a good start against number 15 Clemson. That's Arwin Smith, the touchdown run. Yellow Jackets leading 14-10 first quarter.
The triple option is always dangerous. It doesn't matter what your record is, right? As Ball might have picked up about 3 yards, which will have him in plus territory on the statistics. He moves the chains. And it's time for today's Aflac trivia question. Who are the only 2 quarterbacks in Big Ten history to lead their teams to bowl games in their freshman and sophomore seasons? And the hint would be it has a lot to do with our matchup
Yes,
today.
It does. Let's see if Wisconsin goes with another play action pass, first down. They started the series with it.
Instead of toss and a cutback for Ball. And again, he is stood up. Akeem Spence, the first man there for the Illini. It'll be 2nd down and long. And
When your offensive line is struggling to get movement up front and teams are loading up the box, 8 and 9 guys in there, you can keep them honest by going to that play action. They hit it in the first down, a nice easy pass for Stavy in the flat to the fullback. But now, now you get nothing on first down. You're faced with 2nd and 10. It's just, it's my opinion, they need to just open it up a little bit on first down with the passing game. You're trying to set up the run with the pass.
James White back in at tailback. And with a flag down, White with a cutback. He moves the chains. If the play stands, we'll have to check the penalty. It's a gain of 13. But the flag thrown back at the line of scrimmage. And the frustration looks as if it will continue for this Wisconsin offense. They can't get anything going.
Personal foul, shot block. Offense number 72, 15-yard penalty. Repeat, 2nd down.
So that's Travis Frederick, the center, called for the personal foul. And now you are way behind the chains if you're the Badgers at your own 22-yard line. Third penalty already here in the first half for Wisconsin for a total of 30 yards. Now it's 2nd down and 25 for a team whose bread and butter last year was running the football with Montee Ball. Ball's back in the game. Stavy with a play action fake, steps up, throws one right, and back to the original line of scrimmage goes Jacob Pedersen. That's a gain of about 15 to 16 yards, and it sets up 3rd down and at least manageable 3rd down and 9.
That's what you like about Joel Stavy, the ability to just have that strong arm, accurate throw off the play action. But in order for that play action to work, you've got to have a strong run game. But they complement each other so much.
Out of the shotgun on 3rd down and 9. 4-man rush. Stavy well protected. And that would not have been a first down even if the catch had been made by Pedersen. Eaton Spence blanketed Pedersen, knocked it away, and it'll be 4th down. Pedersen was at least 2 or 3 yards shy of the first down marker with the pattern that he ran had it been a completion. You know, we talked about the spirit of this Illini team. You saw it during warm-ups.
Yep, you saw this team coming in here. They know they're on the road, playing in a hostile environment, but they're fired to come up. They're fired up to be at Camp Randall Stadium. They know this is a national stage. For them to show people the first start of the season has been an aberration.
Line drive, spiraling kick. Returnable, but not so much. Tommy Davis cut down by Mike. Or check that by Derek White. That's a change of field position.
ESPN's College Football on ABC. Brought to you by Michelin, a better way forward. DirecTV. Now get NFL Sunday Ticket included at no extra charge when you switch. And Nissan. Innovation for today, innovation for tomorrow, innovation that excites.
If you live in Madison, you ride your bike. They have about 100 miles of bike paths that go back and forth, crisscrossing the capital. I call it the bike capital of the Midwest. Bicycles outnumber cars at times in this city. And
I dodged a few of them yesterday while I learned that the biker has the right-of-way here. I wasn't aware.
Back to the offense with a 7-0 lead, Illinois. Shieldhouse escapes the pocket. Under pressure, and he will go down. Sacked back at the 12-yard line by Tyler Dipple. And that might have been a coverage sack as Shieldhouse had nowhere to go with the football.
That was just relentless effort by Tyler Dipple. Like you said, Shieldhouse, watch how many different places he looks. He starts off to the left, surveys the left side of the field, then comes back to the right, then tries to rely on his athletic ability to escape it. But Dipple chases him down from the backside. Impressive play. It's an 8-yard loss right there.
These are two offensive lines for both teams that have struggled to protect the quarterback this year. A little bubble screen to Ryan Langford. And he is bottled up by the Badgers. Got out to about the 18-yard line for a gain of 6.5 to 7 yards. But it's 3rd down and at least 11 coming up for Illinois. So far this season, Illinois and Wisconsin have gone back and forth as to which has been the worst in terms of protecting the quarterback in the Big Ten. Right now, Illinois, 17 sacks allowed, most in the conference through the first 5 weeks.
I promise you, if Shieldhouse had been under center all year long, that wouldn't be the case. His escapism is pretty impressive.
Couldn't escape Tyler Dipple on 1st down. Now it's 3rd down and 11. Play clock winding down. 4-man rush. Shieldhouse again flushed out of the pocket. And he can't make the 1st down marker. Brought down at the 25 by Ethan Armstrong, another former walk-on who starts at strong side linebacker for Wisconsin. And the sack sets up with 3 downs and out. And this should give the Badgers pretty good field position. Duvernois will punt from inside his own 15-yard line. Kenzel Doe is back at about the 25 for Wisconsin to receive. A line drive, almost a soccer-style kick, and a charity hop for Kenzel Doe. A flag down as Doe breaks tackles. It excites the crowd, but this will most likely be coming back. Doe's all the way to midfield, maybe into plus territory by the time he steps out. But it is a block in the back called against Wisconsin, and this will be at least a 25, if not a 30 to 35-yard change in field position.
During the return, illegal block in the back, number 52, the receiving team, 10-yard penalty, 1st down.
Well, for an Illinois fan, they probably feel as if this is a little bit of a taste of the opponent's own medicine, as normally it's Illinois making mistakes on special teams. But Nathan Shieldhouse, he was looking for a high five from the official when he scored the touchdown earlier. The back judge, Mike Brown, said, I think I have to stay impartial. 7-0.
You're watching ESPN College Football on ABC, presented by Buffalo Wild Wings.
We come back now with the answer to our Aflac trivia question. The only 2 quarterbacks in Big Ten history to lead their teams to bowl games in their freshman and sophomore seasons. Brooks Bollinger, when he was the quarterback here for the Badgers, and Nathan Shieldhouse, who's looking for bowl games in his freshman, sophomore, and junior seasons. If he can get the Fighting Illini back above 500, but it's back to the offense for Wisconsin. Melvin Gordon turns the corner, runs a man over, and picks up about 5 yards. Helped by Travis Frederick on the edge. It'll be second down and about 5 as we check in with Maria.
Yeah, guys, I saw interim offensive line coach Bart Miller really stressing with his offensive line footwork. And in speaking with center Frederick before this game, he said that definitely the biggest thing in having an interim head coach is that he's going back to old techniques. So right now for the offensive line, it's about rebuilding that muscle memory they had with Bob Bostad.
Well, that was a big story, Maria, back during the early part of the season when Mike Markuson, the offensive line coach, was let go after a couple of games. Tipped ball here. Sets up third down and 5. Michael Buchanan deflects the Stavi pass. But Danny Cannell, what do you think the mood would normally be for a football team when a position coach, especially when the offensive line coach at Wisconsin, I mean, that is the heart and soul of what this offense has always been about, fired 2 weeks into the season?
I was very fortunate to play at a place when I was at Florida State. The coaches were there for 20 years. There wasn't a lot of turnover. You know, for me, I would have been shocked. And I think for any young player, I mean, you come to a place, you expect coaches to be there at least for a year, but after 2 games to make a change. But in talking to Brett Bielema, it was clear that a change was necessary, and nobody was really caught off guard by it.
Third down and 5. 4-man rush. Another deflected ball. It's Buchanan again. 3 downs and out for the Badgers. They'll have to kick it away again.
Well, Michael Buchanan, 6'6", 250 pounds, coming off the edge. Here he comes right at you, going against number 78, Rob Havenstein. And you see him, if you don't get to the quarterback, the next best thing you can do is get those arms up in his way and bat those passes down.
And Meyer gets away a wobbly kick. This will barely cross the midfield stripe, a diving fair catch made by Tommy Davis, but great field position for Illinois. When we come back, they've got the touchdown lead. That's the face of a warrior, Michael Buchanan. Last year, 7.5 sacks. This season already 2.5 sacks, 2 pass deflections that helped set his team up with great field position. And Shieldhouse back to the offense on a keeper. Right up the gut. Nathan Shieldhouse gets to the edge. Finally out of bounds at the Wisconsin 30-yard line. 24-yard run for Nate Shieldhouse.
Boy, Nathan Shieldhouse found a huge hole in the middle. Watch the backers blitz up the middle, and then watch all this room open up, and Shieldhouse does a magnificent job of finding it. Picks up one good block from his slot receiver who chased the back, and then he let his athleticism take over.
So 1st and 10 Illinois at the 30-yard line, and they are in stunned silence here in Madison. Design rollout for Shieldhouse. Throws one to the sideline, incomplete. Underthrew Spencer Harris. It'll be 2nd down and 10.
There really has only been one offensive storyline this game, and it's all Nathan Shieldhouse. I mean, he's been able to make plays outside the pocket. He's been very effective with the play-action pass, taking some shots down the field. You know, Wisconsin has not been able to get anything going offensively, and Illinois is pretty much a one-man show right now.
Illinois with 121 yards of total offense, and Shieldhouse has accounted for all but about 10 or 12 of those yards. Gives it up this time to Ferguson, and his cutback gets swamped under after a loss of 1. Pat Muldoon just back from a injury brings him down. Let's take a closer look at Shieldhouse.
Here he is working the play-action pass. This nice completion flat in the backfield. Then here he's stretching the field vertically once again off the play-action pass, and then finally, again out of play-action, decides to keep it himself. Shows great effort, lowering that shoulder, finding the end zone.
Now it's 3rd down and 11. 7 completions in the game for Shieldhouse to 6 different receivers. And Illinois most likely not inside field goal range here. Shieldhouse to the sideline, and it's intercepted. reading it like a book was Devin Smith. Jumped in front of Ryan Langford, and that's the first interception of the season for Wisconsin.
Boy, Devin Smith pretty much ran this route for him. Looking at the top of your screen, looking at the receiver, and then the break on the ball right there. Number 12, Ryan Langford, a little bit slow getting out of it. Devin Smith pretty much ran the route for him. Great job stepping in front of that route. That is a big turnover for Wisconsin to try to create some momentum because it has been dead on their sideline to this point. Now it's up to the offense to see if they can capitalize on that momentum.
Each team with a giveaway. Plenty of time to score before halftime for Wisconsin if they can get something going. And here's Montee Ball. Power run. That looked like Wisconsin football. A gain of nearly 6 yards. And dual threat quarterbacks square off in a Big Ten showdown on ABC's Saturday Night Football tonight. Taylor Martinez, Braxton Miller, number 21 Nebraska heads to the Horseshoe to take on number 12 Ohio State. It is Saturday night primetime football at 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific, presented by Windows on ABC. What a wide open year it is in the Big Ten. Second down and a long 4, close to 5. Trap handoff on the end around to Melvin Gordon. He turns the corner, and he's tripped up, but not before picking up a first down. DeShonte Williams to the edge, and it's a gain of 10.
And that's just trying to get the ball in the hands of your fastest back. That's Melvin Gordon. It was interesting talking to the coaches. They said, hey, if you ask Montee Ball and James White, the other running backs, who the most talented one is, they'll say physically the most gifted guy is Melvin Gordon.
Montee Ball back in. Jordan Frederick in motion. Counter handoff to Ball, and he is caught behind the line, falls forward for a yard. Terry Hawthorne comes on a run blitz to bring him down.
There's a look at how far behind the chains Wisconsin has been playing. Backed up in rough situations. It's not only hard for the quarterback and the rest of the offense, but as a play caller, what do you dial up there in those situations when you're second 12, 21, and second and 25? Of course, the 1 3rd and long. Illinois brought the blitz, forced Stavi into an interception.
Ball back to the sideline again on second down and 9. Again, that's Melvin Gordon. Sprint motion. Instead, the counter handoff up the middle, and Jonathan Brown stuffs the hole, brings down White. No gain. And now, Danny, you're right back in that same situation as a play caller with a redshirt freshman quarterback, a team that's supposed to be built on the run, and it's 3rd down and 9.
And you can see Illinois' confidence building. Their defense, who had not lived up to expectations this year. A lot of NFL talent on that side of the ball for Illinois, and now they're starting to gain some momentum in this game. You can see them. They're firing each other up. They're getting around. They're dialing up more blitzes. You're finding a lot of their players playing in Wisconsin's backfield.
3rd down and 9. Wisconsin 0 for 5 on 3rd down so far. Here comes the blitz again. Stavi sets up the screen behind it to James White, and he's in the open field. Right down the sideline. Into the end zone for the Wisconsin touchdown.
Just when they needed a big play to get that momentum back in their favor, Wisconsin comes up big with that screen call. Offensive coordinator Matt Canada, beautiful job anticipating that blitz we were talking about and countering it with a nice screen, a 62-yard touchdown.
Longest play from scrimmage this season for Wisconsin. And did Matt Canada dial up a beauty? What a perfect time on 3rd and long to set up the screen. The Illini brought the blitz, played right into the play call's hands. Stavi sold it well. And Danny, another look as White goes the distance.
Watch Stavi draw those blitzers towards him. They're all thinking they have a sack. All you do is dump it off, and then you get a couple nice blocks out in front. Zach Matthias. And then James White does the rest on his own. Wisconsin right back in it.
Bob Wischusen, Danny Kanell, Maria Taylor back in Wisconsin. And Danny, it was an ugly start for the Wisconsin Badgers. 5 drives that resulted in 4 punts and a turnover, but they take the turnover created by their defense and a 5-play, 79-yard touchdown drive of their own.
And a big play right when they needed it most. Now you can sense the atmosphere is alive. The fans are back into this game.
Russell with a high, short kick. And this will be taken all the way up across the 25-yard line. Stepping out is Donovan Young with pretty good field position at the 32-yard line of Illinois. ESPN College Football is available anytime, anywhere on your computer or mobile device via WatchESPN.com and the Watch ESPN app. Get to the App Store, Google Play as well. If you have an Android device, and download Watch ESPN. You watch our game and all the college football games on ESPN as we are now tied at 7, closing in on halftime. And Shieldhouse off the interception, back to work. Play action, and Shieldhouse on a keeper with a cutback, nothing there. Might have gained a couple of yards. Chris Borland buries him at about the 34-yard line as we check in with Robert Flores.
All right, Bob, 15 minutes till the top of the hour. Here's what's happening on SportsCenter right now, brought to you by HP. Number 4 LSU visiting number 10 Florida. Battle of undefeateds and a battle of awesome defenses. Right now, the two teams have combined for just 121 yards worth of offense. Tigers on top with a field goal, 3-0. Second quarter at the Swamp.
You're at Camp Randall. We're tied at 7. Shieldhouse under pressure, and he'll go down again. Wanted the bomb downfield, but Ethan Heamer collapsed the pocket. Second sack for Wisconsin, and it will be 3rd down and long.
Ethan Heamer, just relentless pass rush. That's one thing you'll see from Wisconsin defensive line. Keeps getting after it, goes right by number 76, Graham Posick. Shieldhouse just a little hanging on to that ball a little bit too long. Got to find somewhere to get rid of it, throw it away. You cannot take a sack and put yourself into this 3rd and 15 situation.
Play clock winding down. 3rd down and 15. Quarterback draw for Shieldhouse. They'll play it safe. So the Illini not taking any chances, played a punt. Let's see if Wisconsin spends a timeout here, which you think they probably should.
Absolutely.
1:56 to go in the first half, and Brett Bielema calls a timeout for the sideline.
And that's why that stop was so big for Wisconsin, because now they can get the ball back and try to put some points on the board before half.
So Wisconsin will get the football back with plenty of time to add more points before halftime, and it is a wide open race in the Big Ten. Penn State wins at home. They went back and forth with a previously undefeated Northwestern team, but Penn State survives. Michigan State had to come from behind to beat Indiana. Later on tonight, Nebraska and Ohio State. This is anybody's conference.
Yeah, and look at 2 of those teams that are on that graphic are ineligible for postseason play. So it truly is wide open right now in the Big Ten.
No teams ranked in the top 10 right now in the AP poll in the Big Ten. The highest ranked team is Ohio State at 12th, and as you said, they're not eligible to play in the Big Ten championship game. So who knows who might end up at Lucas Oil in December. A fumbled fair catch. Who's got it? Kenzel Doe might have grabbed his own muffed fair catch. He did. 41-yard punt. Doe almost turned it over, but it will stay with the Badgers.
Here's another look. Kenzel Doe. You see him, he's got it, and it just gets away from him, but a pretty alert job of getting on that football. And now here's an opportunity to look at Joel Stave running this 2-minute drill. He's got 2 timeouts, plenty of time on the clock. But this is where you're a little bit more concerned. You know, a redshirt freshman hasn't been in this situation too many times.
They'll throw on first down. Finds Abradaris on a slant. Abradaris spins for a first down and a gain of 11. And for the moment, that will stop the clock with 1:44 to go in the first half.
This is a situation, though, where you see him look pretty confident, composed out there.
Flags down, trap handoff. Monte Ball picks up 7 yards. Ernest Thomas was there to make the stop, but it looks as if this might be a penalty called against Wisconsin.
Offside.
Check
Defense, number 99. 5-yard penalty. Repeat first down.
Michael Buchanan just was trying to time the snap and was about a split second too soon. Officials were all over it. He's tough enough to block when he doesn't come fast. You see here, just before that snap, you have no chance to block him. It still worked in their favor, Wisconsin, because they slipped that little underneath handoff in.
Right behind the rush of Buchanan. So it's first down and 5. And now flags will fly as it was not the best start for Wisconsin.
Snap infraction. 72 offense. 5-yard penalty. The down remains first.
So we can just eliminate the last 2 plays because they cross each other out.
So we're right back where we were before. Of course, it means Wisconsin's bleeding the clock down.
Yeah, exactly.
Though.
That's what's hurting them the most.
Ball up the middle, and they might have to spend a timeout here. Down to 1:10 to go in the first half. Glenn Foster brought down Montee Ball after a gain of 3.5 yards.
And they're not calling a timeout to me, which to me is shocking right here. And I think that's a sign of, hey, it's a young quarterback. We might be content going into the locker room tied.
Stabby with a check down to Abradaris, so now they might have to spend a timeout. It's 3rd down and 3, and by the time they get set and run this 3rd down play, you have bled the clock so far down that you might not even be able to hope for more than a field goal.
No, and this to me is not a sign of confidence. Your offense, you can tell the struggles they've had, but being content going to halftime.
Well, they're still throwing the ball, and they're going to come up short. And now I would think Illinois would call a timeout.
Why wouldn't
as Terry Hawthorne brought down Montee Ball. The Illini not spending a timeout as the clock winds down, and Wisconsin, rather than punting the ball, would love to go to halftime, I'm sure, in a 7-7 tie.
Yeah,
now that they've come up short on 3rd down.
I'm shocked at both the coaches right now that they're not trying to make more of this 2-minute situation. Both teams just saying, hey, we'll go into halftime, we'll coach them up, come back and get it on the next half. It's a little perplexing to me, Bob.
That was conservative clock management at best for both head coaches as we go to the locker room at halftime in a 7-7 tie. And it is not a happy group of Badger fans here at Camp Randall watching their team struggle offensively in the first half. The halftime report is coming up in just a moment, tied at 7 here in Wisconsin's Big Ten home opener. Fall is in the air here in Madison as we're set for the start of the second half. The leaves starting to turn. Big Ten football, we're tied at 7. Old-fashioned Big Ten football between Illinois and Wisconsin. Bob Wischusen, Danny Kanell, Maria Taylor here at Camp Randall Stadium, where Wisconsin has won 19 games in a row, the 2nd longest home win streak in the country to LSU. LSU has won 21 in a row in Baton Rouge, but that 19-game win streak certainly in jeopardy as we start the second half. Wisconsin won the toss, deferred their option to the second half, so they'll start with the football, and they'll start with Melvin Gordon taking a knee. As we take a look at our Pacific Life game summary and some startling numbers here, Danny Kanell, particularly again, Montee Ball just couldn't get anything going. The quarterbacks did make some plays.
Now Nathan Schillhouse has been the one bright spot for Illinois this afternoon, able to get the ball game going with his legs, and then of course Joel Stabby able to find James White with a little screen pass. And you always love that as a quarterback, being able to dump off a nice, short, easy pass and letting those guys do all the work for you. But both of those touchdowns came off of turnover, showing you the importance of protecting that football.
And Montee Ball starts the second half on the sideline. It's James White in a tailback and a play-action fake by Stabby. He wants the home run ball, and that is a wobbly punt to the pass that Abradaris turns into a defender as much as the intended receiver. As Stabby was hit, as he released it, Buchanan was there. It's been that kind of a game. Even when the offenses have taken their shots and tried to make plays down the field, it has been defense dominating.
It really has. I mean, both teams have kind of struggled to get something going. At least for Illinois, they have a quarterback who can kind of do some things with his legs. With Wisconsin, they rely so much on that running game. It's just a focal point. It's what they do. It's their identity. And when they're not able to do it, they've got a redshirt freshman at quarterback right now. They've become very limited in what they can do, so they become easier to stop.
Hunting for about 5 yards is Montee Ball. It'll be 3rd down and 5. But that brings Monte Ball now up to 7 carries for 17 yards.
It's really, and I'm sure the coaches are scratching their heads a little bit too, because you're talking about a player last year, a Heisman finalist, averaged close to 137 yards a game rushing, and they cannot seem to find their way. I think it also shows you what Russell Wilson meant to this team as well, having him back there at quarterback. 3rd down and 5. 1 for 7 on 3rd down for Wisconsin. Right at the 1st down marker, the catch made by Chase Hammond, but he's going to be marked down a half a yard shy as we go down to Maria.
Yeah, guys, I spoke with Tim Beckman coming out of halftime, and he basically told me that he's proud of his team's energy and effort, but they have to do a better job being consistent. He loves the fact that they're getting a takeaway on defense also, but he wants to establish the run offensively here in the second half, guys.
Well, Maria, they're going to have a chance now as they're about to get the football back, Danny. 3 downs and out. That's a booming punt. Best of the day so far for Meyer. Drives Tommy Davis all the way back to his 10-yard line. And he gets cut down at the 12. Zuliger downfield again to make the stop on special teams. 56-yard punt for Drew Meyer, the redshirt freshman.
Wind at his back, got it up there in that jet stream. That ball just boomed off his foot. Illinois going to be backed up, coming out of their own end zone here. As fans starting to get up. Actually, Tim Beckman talked about his team's energy level. It was definitely something we noticed in the first half. Can they maintain it through this second half and try to take this home crowd out of the game?
Shieldhouse with a trap handoff to Donovan Young, and he is stood up 2 yards behind the line. Mike Taylor, first team all Big Ten last season, 2nd in the Big Ten in tackles coming into today, made the stop.
Here's a look right here. Nathan Shieldhouse running that zone read, decides to give it to number 5, Donovan Young. And pretty good job by Mike Taylor, number 53, forcing that back to the inside where all his help is coming from.
Shieldhouse with a cutback on 2nd and long, and he's in the secondary. Nathan Shieldhouse all the way out across the 40-yard line. Was that a great read by the junior quarterback? 29 yards on the run.
Not only a great read to keep the football himself, but watch all the over pursuit. Watch all the action go over there when he reads it that way and opens up that cutback lane right there. He finds the lane. You see all the grass to run with, and he's got the speed to take advantage of it.
Shieldhouse flips a screen. Josh Ferguson, blockers out in front. And he picks up close to 7 yards. Mike Taylor was there to make the stop. Back to Shieldhouse, Danny, for just a moment. Knowing the great read option speed run quarterback that you were at Florida State, I don't know why you're laughing. What are the keys for Shieldhouse? What are the indicators that let him know when it's time to pull it down, when it's time to kind of ride that back and give up the ball?
Well, he's going to read that defensive end, the end guy on the line of scrimmage, the first guy that shows up. If that guy takes the ball carrier, then he keeps it himself. But if he looks like he's reading it, he's going to take the quarterback, then you hand it off.
Shieldhouse, a little bubble screen on 2nd and 3 to Malines. And he is right at the 1st down marker. Ethan Armstrong made the stop for Wisconsin. We'll have to see where they spot the ball right on our 1st down line, and that is good enough for an Illinois 1st down.
So you got to remember, Bob, you're talking to a guy who had negative career rushing yards in both college and the NFL.
I don't believe that for a second. You're telling me Bobby Bowden's not dialing up quarterback draw after quarterback draw?
No, thank goodness he did not.
Here you go, Warrick Dunn. I am more than happy to hand the ball off to you.
I was more than happy to hand it off to him, too.
1st and 10 in plus territory now for the Illini. Shieldhouse floats one over the middle. Donovan Young lost the football. It'll be an incomplete pass, 2nd down and 10, and he had room to run if he held on. Well,
we heard Maria tell us Tim Beckman was trying to get that running game going, looking at Illinois offensive line, they have different guys at every position across the board. Not one guy is in the same position they started this game. They've got some backups in there, so clearly they're trying to make some changes to get some momentum going up front. They've been juggling guys around all year due to injury.
Ferguson and Young both in the backfield flanking Shieldhouse. 2nd and 10. Turning the corner, Ferguson. Nowhere to go. Might have gotten a yard. Chris Borland again to the short side of the field. Stood up Ferguson. It will be 3rd down and 9.
Chris Borland should have been blocked there. A pulling lineman was in his way. He just shot the gap and made a play on the football. So athletic. Coaches, he didn't even play linebacker in high school. Was a fullback safety type player. Came to Wisconsin, fought his way in that lineup, and man, he is so impressive in the middle of that defense.
Four-man rush, 5-man rush on 3rd and 9. Shieldhouse can't escape, and he will go down. Conrad Zagzebski made the stop.
That would be my only complaint with Nathan Shieldhouse, or in some passing situations like that one, thought he could have stayed a little bit longer in the pocket, let that play develop. Sometimes he relies a little bit too heavily on his legs, that ability to get the 1st down. Sometimes you see a 3rd and 9, 3rd and 10, you're thinking, hey, I can get this. Probably better off putting that in the air and trying to get it with your arm.
A change at punt returner for Wisconsin. Remember, Kenzel Doe dropped the fair catch his last attempt, so Jared Abradaris back there, maybe a bit more sure-handed, and he takes it on a hop, dives out to about the 13-yard line. Wisconsin football when we come back.
You're watching ESPN College Football on ABC, presented by Buffalo Wild Wings.
A little chilly to be out on the lake outside in Madison today as fall has arrived. College football, and it's Illinois and Wisconsin tied at 7, an old-time Big Ten slugfest as two teams offensively that are really struggling, and the numbers we will show you in a moment certainly bear that out. Monte Ball, no one struggled more than him today. He's the I-back. He'll take it on 1st down, and he gets stood up in the hole once again. Mason Monheim, the true freshman middle linebacker, made the stop for Illinois. It'll be 2nd down and 8. Now, these are two teams, as we said, that average 96th in the country, 109th in the country in total offense, and they are below right now what we would track their normal yards per game averages to be.
Both these teams really struggling. That last play just exemplified why Wisconsin is struggling. The middle linebacker, the most critical guy, number 43, Mason Monheim, came absolutely unblocked and tackled Monte Ball.
Stavi in a play-action fake. Finds Abradaris. That's good for a 1st down. A gain of about 12. Terry Hawthorne made the stop.
And that's another area where they need some help too. Jared Abradaris, an outstanding wide receiver. Really like the way he gets open, find his way in there. But somebody else in the wide receiving corps needs to kind of take that load off, because when you become one-dimensional and you can't run the football, and you only got one guy really that's your receiving threat, teams will start rolling coverage. They need to have some other players step up.
Speed end around to Melvin Gordon, and he lost a yard. Michael Buchanan was there to make the stop as we take a look at today's Good Hands play, brought to you by Allstate.
Here's a look. A little bit unusual, but hey, Michael Buchanan, we just saw him make a tackle on that last one. Here he is batting a couple critical passes down for the Illinois defense. He is an outstanding pass rusher, but a lot of times teams start sliding their protection towards you. You can't get to the quarterback. Next best thing, bat those passes down.
2nd down and 11. Stavi floats one down the sideline. In stride, he has his man hammering his way to midfield as Derek Watt with a flag down.
That might be a hit to the head. Leading with the helmet at the end of that play. But finally, Wisconsin able to find some momentum. Great pass from Joel Stavi.
Terry Hawthorne shaken up on the play for Illinois.
That's that fullback. We saw Illinois hit this play earlier, a wheel route coming out of the backfield. And boom, at the end of that play, it looked like Derek Watt was the one who delivered the blow.
And Terry Hawthorne has yet to get up, has yet to even move much.
Now, well, that was
surrounded by training personnel.
That was one of those vicious hits that you see, and you see the player instantly go down like that.
I'll be interested to see if they pick this flag up,
well, that's
or if the penalty stays enforced, as it may have been helmet-to-helmet contact called on Hawthorne, and he took the worst of the hit. Let's take another look. And that should not be a penalty on either player.
No, I agree with you, Bob. That was not a malicious play on either one of those behalf. That's just football. I mean, it is a violent game out there. You've got two guys going full speed at each other. And that's just part of playing the game. You just hope for Terry Hawthorne that he's able to bounce up from this. And we've seen it a lot lately. I mean, the last two Monday Night Football games, we've seen some vicious hits. It's just, you know, unfortunately, it's one of those things that comes with the territory.
There's nothing worse in a football game when you see the cart brought out and the backboard brought out as well. But it looks like they are going to have to use the backboard and maybe the stretcher for Terry Hawthorne. And there's
Tim Beckman obviously showing his concern, getting up in there.
During the play, personal foul, defense number 1. High hit to a defensive player, 15-yard penalty, first down.
I think the reason the officials called that is because of the way it looked. You know, when you're going bang, bang play, sometimes they look different. It's easier to tell when they go slow motion.
We'll come back and check on Terry Hawthorne right after this.
ESPN's College Football on ABC, brought to you by Pacific Life. For insurance, annuities, and investments, choose Pacific Life, the power to help you succeed. Hyundai. Go online and show your loyalty to your school at HyundaiShowYourLoyalty.com. And Wrangler, real, comfortable jeans.
Back in Wisconsin, and the last scene that you ever want to see on a football field, the entire Illini football team surrounding their teammate Terry Hawthorne, as he was involved in a big-time collision with Derek Watt, the fullback for Wisconsin. Full speed collision that Hawthorne, I think very unfairly, and I think, Danny, we both agree, unfairly so, was called for a penalty, but they have to bring out the ambulance, the stretcher. You get the thumbs up from Tim Beckman. Hopefully that's a good sign. But Hawthorne being now set to be loaded into the ambulance.
And here really it's just you're hoping and praying that's just precautionary measures. They want to make sure Terry Hawthorne is okay, so they will take every precaution, throw him in that ambulance, and run through the checks, and just you hope and pray for the best.
That's a young man that has become a very good cornerback for Illinois. And now there's the thumbs up that you certainly want to see. And now this Illini team is going to have to deal with the emotions of seeing one of their senior leaders loaded into an ambulance on top of a big passing play and a 15-yard personal foul tacked on. And you now have to, I guess, regroup emotionally, Danny, before Illinois faces a Wisconsin offense that has a little bit of rhythm going.
Without a doubt, it's always a challenge when every time you're dealing with a serious injury, you know, getting your mind back in the game. And you don't mean to, you know, take away from your, you know, you still care about your teammate, but sometimes the best thing you can do is say, hey, we'll go out and win this one for you, or we'll play inspired to try to make sure that you were out here on the field for a reason. Try to use it as a rallying call. And I think the best news is that when you saw Coach Beckman leaving, telling everybody, hey, he's okay, it's just precautionary.
So the fire department, paramedics leave the field, and we will get you an update on Terry Hawthorne as soon as we possibly can. But the thumbs up that we saw from the senior corner for Illinois before he was loaded into the ambulance is certainly the best sign that you could hope for. And now his defensive teammates have to regroup. All in all, the completion to Derek Watt And what seemed like a very unfair personal foul called against Terry Hawthorne adds up to a 41-yard play. And back to football, 1st and 10 at the Illinois 33. Stavi, play action fake. Low throw over the middle, and boy, did he have Jacob Pedersen running wide open at the 5-yard line. Should have been a walk-in touchdown, and Stavi underthrew him.
Wow, missed opportunity for Wisconsin. You call those first down play action passes. Look at the tight lineup right here. You'll see them both release. One goes outside, one goes inside. This is the one that comes open, the inside route. See them run a little crisscross. It's hard for that defense to pick up. Safety guesses wrong, goes to the outside. And boy, Joel Stavi would love to have that pass back.
2nd down and 10. Wisconsin a little late coming out of the huddle. And off to Melvin Gordon. And he is brought down after a gain of a couple. Ernest Thomas came up to make the stop. And now Illinois thinks they knocked the ball out. They think the ball came free and that they recovered. It doesn't look as if the officials are going to give the Illini the football. It will still be Wisconsin ball, 3rd down and long.
Boy, I tell you what, Wisconsin had a couple linemen out in front of that running play. Here's one look at the very end right there. You see that ball does look like it popped out towards the end, but Wisconsin had linemen leading the way, and they just didn't block anybody. Number 9, Ernest Thomas, just shoots his way right through him. You see number 72, Travis Frederick, looking around for guys, and that ball is loose.
Now, if that was a clear recovery for Illinois, they can review this. And that's what they're going to do.
And from their reaction, they acted like they came up with the ball, so if the officials saw that.
And maybe a bad job by Wisconsin as well. They showed no sense of urgency to get out of the huddle and get the ball snapped.
The ruling on the field was the runner was down by contact. Previous play is under further review.
Well, it certainly took a long
There is
time.
no timeout.
For them to buzz down from the replay booth to tell the officials this is something to be reviewed. Had Wisconsin gone with a little bit more of a sense of urgency and gotten the ball snapped rather than huddling up for over half the play clock, maybe they would have avoided this review, but that ball was knocked out by Jonathan Brown, it looks like. Now, did Illinois come up with a clear recovery of the football?
Because that's
once it comes out.
Because this is clearly a fumble, and then watch the football, see where it goes. You can see the Illinois players react like they recognize it, and from their reaction on the field, looked like they were going after the football. There you see number 45, Jonathan Brown, number 54. There are a lot of Illinois players right there. And it looks like 2 Illinois players are going to get on that football.
Melvin Gordon's elbow was at least close to being down when the ball knocked out, but it looked as if it was jarred free before his elbow hit the ground. So this is twofold, this review. A, do you rule it a fumble? And then B, do any of our replays conclusively show that Illinois comes up with the recovery? And that's what the replay officials are looking at as we speak. This is a huge review. If this is indeed a turnover, Illinois will have the ball back at their own 32-yard line. And if you still in a 7-7 tie.
And if you look at the impact that turnovers have had in this game, both touchdowns have come off turnovers. So a critical call here for the officials.
After further review, the ruling on the field stands.
See, now, if I'm an Illinois fan, what I'm a little upset about is I'm not getting any kind of an explanation.
Right.
Because if I'm at home watching the game, I'm saying, well, it looks like the ball's out.
Right.
Does the ruling on the field stand because you think he's down by contact, or does the ruling on the field stand because replay didn't show whether or not Illinois came up with a recovery? 3rd down and 9, 7th play of the drive after the near turnover. 3-man rush. Stavi still dodges the pressure, and he's going to go down at the 30-yard line, a gain of 2. Now it's 4th down and 7 as Jonathan Brown made the stop. What do you do at the plus 30-yard line? Do you try a long field goal attempt?
He's got the wind at his back. It's been blowing this way all day long. And that's exactly what Wisconsin's going to try to do, get some points from this drive. That's why that little scramble by Joel Stavi, just enough to keep those, get it back in and not taking a sack in that situation, make sure this field goal is manageable.
Kyle French's long so far this year, only 35 yards. This one from 46 yards out to try and give Wisconsin the lead. And he hits it well, and it looks like it just does sneak inside the upright, and Wisconsin takes the lead. So Brett Bielema gives Kyle French, the sophomore, a chance. He converts, and the Badgers lead 10-7.
You're watching ESPN College Football on ABC, presented by Buffalo Wild Wings.
Our aerial coverage here in Madison is being provided by the MetLife Blimp. See how MetLife can provide the coverage you need. MetLife, I can do this. One of the great college towns in America, Madison, Wisconsin. College football on ESPN, and the Badgers have taken a 10-7 lead over Illinois. Bob Wischusen, along with Danny Cannell and Maria Taylor here in Camp Randall Stadium. Jack Russell set to kick off after Kyle French knocked through a 46-yard field goal to give Wisconsin the lead. Short kick coming down to Ferguson at about the 8. And he is brought down at the 27. Well, Jimmy Johnson and Dale Earnhardt Jr. highlight a star-studded field when the chase for the Sprint Cup championship heads to legendary Talladega. The NASCAR Sprint Cup Series at Talladega tomorrow at 1 on ESPN. As we take a look at the standings after 29 of the 36 races, and they're chasing Brad Keselowski. 1st and 10 for Illinois at their own 26-yard line. A little shovel pass to Ryan Langford. He picks up 7 and lost the football. Now it's on the ground. A very late pop of the football out of the pile, and it looks like the Illini have recovered it.
They fumbled it on the return. It went back. Hugh Thornton, a big left tackle, able to get on that ball late. What a missed opportunity. Wisconsin had that ball.
It looked like Brandon Kelly had the football, and it was knocked back out of his hands. So if he fully possessed the ball, then this should be a first down for Illinois.
Here's one more little quick look at that shovel pass to Langford. He's carrying the ball. When he's trying to get those extra yards, that's when the ball squirts loose. It's picked up.
The officials are going to review whether or not, I guess, Langford was down by contact, and did Kelly possess the ball.
They might look at both of those fumbles.
And I think they got the call on the field right.
I do too.
Probably first down for Illinois at their own 22-yard line. It looks like they're not even going to bother with review. They're just going to give Illinois the ball 1st and 10 at their own 22.
With a change of possession, it's a first down for Illinois.
So Illinois just starts their drive a little bit further back than they would have.
It was Darius Malines who made the hit on Brandon Kelly to knock the ball out and give it back to Illinois. Ferguson out to about the 28-yard line, a gain of 6. It'll be 2nd and 4, and we have an injury update with Maria.
Yeah, that's right, guys. Terry Hawthorne, he is on his way to the University of Wisconsin Hospital, where he will get his neck and his back x-rayed. Reports are that he is alert and he has had movement, and the good news is his parents were in the stand and they are joining him on the way to the hospital.
And that thumbs up might have been the best news that we saw. Maria, thank you, and hopefully we'll get an update before we go off the air for the Illini fans wondering how Terry Hawthorne is doing. 2nd down and 4. Shieldhouse on a keeper. Close to a first down. Let's go back to Robert Flores.
All right, Bob, AT&T All-American Player of the Week nominee. How about Kansas State quarterback Colin Klein? 2 rushing touchdowns, 2 through the air, as Kansas State rolled over Kansas 56-16 in the Sunflower Showdown. You can text VOTE to be a part of the process at 34763. Results revealed Thursday on ESPN. Bob.
Big play here, Robert, as we welcome you back to Madison. 3rd down and 1.
Let Shieldhouse read it out.
Quarterback draw. Straight run for Shieldhouse, and they move the pile and easily pick up the first down, a gain of 3.
Well, put it in the hands of your best playmaker, and that's number 2, Nathan Shieldhouse there, going head-to-head against Chris Borland, the other side of the ball. Great matchup there. Shieldhouse, of course, had the advantage of a wall of offensive line in front of him.
This is the first time today that Illinois has trailed following the field goal last possession by Kyle French. Illinois took the 7-0 lead in the first half. Wisconsin answered. We were tied at 7 at halftime. Now it's 10-7. Shieldhouse with a pump fake and a throwaway. Pressure was coming from Kelly.
You know, looking at this Illinois offense, it's really been either Shieldhouse or the two backs, Donovan Young and Josh Ferguson. They're really a three-headed monster you've got to defend. But Paul Langford's a guy we talked about at the beginning of the game, their wide receiver, their big playmaker. Here's a look at Shieldhouse. You see why this throw might have been a little errant. Takes a shot there at the end of that play, but I think Shieldhouse was just throwing that ball out of bounds because Langford did not have a step on the outside trying to double move.
Shieldhouse injured his ankle in the opener against Western Michigan, missed the starts against Arizona State and Charleston Southern, but has been back the past couple of weeks now. Floats one to the edge to Malines. And he's brought down about 3 yards shy of a first down. It will be 3rd down and short coming up for Illinois. And well, the BCS standings are on the way in a couple of weeks. BCS Countdown on ESPN and ESPNU tomorrow gets our analysis underway. Who will rise, who will fall? We'll look ahead at the key matchups for next week. BCS Countdown at 8:30, then at 9, presented by Discover Card tomorrow night on ESPN and ESPNU. Big play here, Danny, 3rd down and 2.
Another 3rd down situation. I think they're going to stick with what's working, Shieldhouse and the two backs.
Play action for Shieldhouse. Under pressure from Kelly. Avoids the rush, at least for the moment. Spins towards the chains, and it looks like he might have the first down. Mike Taylor brought him down, and that is a terrific effort by Nathan Shieldhouse to get a tough 2 yards that he needed.
Unbelievable individual effort from Nathan Shieldhouse. They called up a play-action pass to try to get Wisconsin thinking what I was that Shieldhouse was going to keep it himself, trying to catch the ball in the flat. And then right here, just incredible athleticism, knowing where those chains were to stick that ball out and get the first.
Full house backfield on 1st down. Shieldhouse on a keeper, up the middle. He picks up a couple of yards. Ethan Armstrong, another former walk-on for Wisconsin, stayed home and made the stop.
Ethan Armstrong was on an island right there. Nathan Shieldhouse kept it. There was a hole open right in the middle of that field. It was a one-on-one situation with Armstrong versus Shieldhouse. Number 36 stepped up for that nice tackle.
A reverse. And looking to throw the football is Osei. And he can't find Langford. Miles Osei is the 3rd-string quarterback, but is used in a variety of roles on the Illinois offense. And that time they used him as a wide receiver and then as a thrower of the football. The trickeration doesn't work. It's 3rd down and 8.
Well, I thought he might have had a better chance just keeping that ball on the ground and running it. Might have had some space to run with. Pretty nice job on the back end for Wisconsin, recognizing that play and staying with the receivers. Now on a 3rd down and 8, I'd like to see Shieldhouse let this play develop just for a second. If he has time, survey the field.
Four-man rush. Shieldhouse, happy feet in the pocket. He's going to take off and run again. And he won't come close. Didn't even get to the 50-yard line. Brought down 6 yards shy of a first down. Again, it's Ethan Armstrong there to make the tackle. And again, Illinois gets to midfield and stalls.
A nice series there for Ethan Armstrong. The linebacker for Wisconsin made a nice heads-up individual tackle on Shieldhouse. And then at the end, that relentless pursuit. That was pretty good coverage, too, by Wisconsin's secondary. There weren't many places to go with the football for Nathan Shieldhouse.
You think Shieldhouse is still too quick, though, to pull it down and run, generally speaking?
That one there, he caught some pressure, though, and I still like the way he was looking downfield. Wasn't anywhere to go with the football, though.
A shanked punt. This will barely move into plus territory for Illinois. And it will roll dead at about the 41-yard line. Duvernois with a 10-yard punt. That's like a turnover.
That is. You're sitting where you could pin Wisconsin back potentially, make them drive the length of the field, and then you catch one off the side of your foot. I mean, it is windy out. Maybe the ball when he drops it here, but that is just a flat-out shank.
That
off
ball
the side of his foot.
And it almost looked like the ball turned a bit once he dropped it. Well, for Duvernois, you'd like to give him the benefit of the doubt that was wind-aided. But only a 10-yard punt. Great field position for Wisconsin. Stavi on first down. Wants the bomb. And it just goes off the fingertips of Chase Hammond, who laid out at about the 20-yard line. He had Justin Green beat. And Stavi couldn't find the hookup.
That's the second big play that Stavi has missed. They had a huge opportunity there. Middle of the field came open. When that middle of the field opens up, you know you've got a chance at the post route. That's exactly what they tried to dial up. Chase Hammond was split. Could have hit his head on the goalpost there if he had came down with that pass. Stavi just missed it.
Melvin Gordon at the top of your screen. They have used him on a few jet sweeps today. Let's see if they send him in motion here. They do not. Instead, it's White. White breaking tackles. James White down the sideline. And that's a big run for a first down for Wisconsin. Gain of 22.
James White flashing some of that form he had as a freshman when he went for over 1,000 yards rushing. And they've got some depth in this backfield. You know, Montee Ball gets so much recognition because of what he did last year. That was a 22-yard gain James White just ripped off. But, you know, Montee Ball, of course, he had the issues where he, you know, was attacked on and was dealing with those injuries, got dinged up a little bit through the season. This could be a great thing for him to kind of get healthy, and they wanted to take some of the load off his shoulders.
Wisconsin with one more snap before the end of the quarter, and right up the middle goes James White. A gain of 5 more. It'll be 2nd down and 5 when we come back to start the 4th quarter. And it's Wisconsin on top of Illinois by a field goal after 3. Set for the start of the 4th quarter here in Madison. Bob Wischusen, Danny Cadell, Maria Taylor. It's a 10-7 Wisconsin lead over Illinois. Two teams coming off of losses in their Big Ten openers. Wisconsin lost heartbreaking fashion, blowing a 17-point lead in the second half at Nebraska. And Illinois was trounced by Penn State. Been a close game so far today, though. And a little cutback spinning run for Montee Ball, and he's got a first down to the 26-yard line.
And really, that might be Montee Ball's best play of the game right there. Finally able to give him some wiggle room, some room to work for, and pick up the first down for Wisconsin. I tell you, this team should be enthused right now coming to the start of the 4th quarter. I know I'm fired up. One of the best traditions in college football.
Montee Ball now up to 9 carries for 25 yards. So he has been a non-factor so far today. Gets another chance here, though. And dives for about 2 or 3 yards. So it'll be 2nd down and long. And again, the problem, it seems, for Wisconsin is getting any type of sustained success on the ground. And the way this game is going, only up by a field goal, if Illinois doesn't hold them to a field goal here, it feels like a pretty significant deficit.
Oh, it absolutely does. And you're talking about Wisconsin, who was a 2-touchdown favorite coming into this game. But really, you look at their offensive woes, and it all starts up front with that blocking scheme up front. They've got to generate some more push, get some more holes for these running backs to run through, no matter who's back there.
Play action and a rollout for Stavi on 2nd and 8. A bullet to the sideline for Abradaris, and he gets the toe tap inside the 10-yard line. 1st and goal at the 9.
Nice job by Joel Stavi, letting that play develop, going over his first read and going to his second read deeper. Abradaris, you see him surveying the field, looking short, then finds Abradaris deeper down the field. A nice pass over the defense, perfectly in stride.
Abradaris came into today number 1 in the Big Ten in average yards per game. He's up to 58 yards today. Handoff, Ball shakes and bakes at the 5. Montee Ball into the end zone. The 62nd rushing touchdown of his career. Wisconsin makes Illinois pay for the 10-yard punt. They use the short field to make a 10-point advantage as we take another look at Montee Ball.
Finally, some blockers. Watch the seal here and then watch the fullback kick out. We were just talking about not giving Montee Ball room to run. Well, they do an outstanding job right there. He gets up on the safety, makes him miss. Touchdown for Wisconsin.
You're watching ESPN College Football on ABC, presented by Buffalo Wild Wings.
7th touchdown of the season a moment ago for Montee Ball, and Bucky the Badger, he plants a flag every time Montee Ball scores a touchdown. It's a long walk through the student section.
I was going to say I was worried about him getting up there. Obviously,
yeah.
I think it's a tradition, too, that you whack him upside the head on his way up.
A lot of head slaps for Bucky. And Montee Ball, 68 total touchdowns, now tied for 4th in FBS history. 78 total touchdowns. Travis Prentice, Miami of Ohio, that's the record. And Montee Ball has a chance to break the all-time record. Donovan Young on the kickoff return, and now it's a 2-possession game. Illinois, they have struggled offensively all day, and they will need a couple of scores now to come from behind here in the 4th quarter as we take a look at our Pacific Life game summary. Not a lot of yards put up, Danny Cannell, by either team.
No, Wisconsin, of course, had the big pass play to get some yards on the board. But it was good to see Montee Ball get involved there. And then the other thing that jumps out to you on 3rd down, Wisconsin 1 for 9. And look at Montee Ball, only 36 yards rushing. Good to see him get a touchdown, though. They've got to get him involved. He's such an important part to this offense.
10-point lead now. Lots of time for Illinois, and Shieldhouse on a keeper is across the 30 to about the 32, a gain of 6 as we go down to Maria.
Yeah, guys, I've been keeping a close eye on Montee Ball all game. The first time I've seen him crack a smile, look really excited, was after the touchdown run. He came down, gives love to his entire offensive line, picks up the phone, still has a smile on his face, and finally took his helmet off. He's been sitting under it the whole game as well, guys.
Well, Maria, that's the first time he's had a hole to run through that they actually provided for him.
Illinois maybe trying to pick up the pace a little bit offensively, and they need to. 2nd and 4. And that is at least 3 yards shy of a first down for Josh Ferguson. Let's go back to Robert Flores.
Bob, did you say pick up the pace offensively? Because that is certainly the theme between number 4 LSU and number 10 Florida. But the Gators have scored the game's first touchdown. Mike Gillislee giving the home team Gators a 1-point lead, 3rd quarter at the Swamp.
They don't call it bad offense, though, in the SEC. It's great defense, right, Bob? That's what it is.
Such ACC Florida State bitterness coming from my partner. 3rd down and 3. Big play here. 5-man rush. Shieldhouse can't find Langford. Now it's 4th down and 3. And based on being inside your own 40-yard line, Illinois has to punt it away. 12 minutes to go, but boy, every drive that they misfire on
becomes that much more costly because they're running out of time. But we've got to give some credit to Wisconsin's defense. They've stepped up. You know, we talked about the importance of containing Shieldhouse. Notice he hasn't done much in this second half. They've contained him in the pocket, and they've kind of battened down the hatches in the secondary, doing a better job covering the receivers.
Aberderis back deep to receive the punt of Duvernois, and a much better kick this time than he had last time. Drives Aberderis back to the 15-yard line. Aberderis may have gotten the benefit of a block in the back, and he stumbles out to the 40-yard line. The turf monster got him.
Yes, it did. He knows it, too.
He might have gone the distance if he stayed on his feet.
He's laughing. He knows he had an opportunity there.
Let's take another look at the return. See if you see a block in the back on the return here as well.
I saw a block
right there,
but yeah, possibly. There was the defender put up his arms. It wasn't me, I promise. Sometimes if you act like you let up, they give you the benefit of the doubt.
Good field position still for Wisconsin.
ESPN's College Football on ABC, brought to you by Buffalo Wild Wings, wings, beer, sports, and Chevy. From kickoff to the last yard, Chevy runs deep.
I really enjoyed stuffing my face last night at the Essen House.
You're going to have to get an extra workout and some extra cardio after that dinner last night.
Yeah, really not that much of a departure from the norm for me anytime.
I'm disappointed I didn't see you on the dance floor.
That was the Essen House, Madison's arguably best German restaurant. Authentic decor. You could tap your toes to some live music and hoist an adult beverage occasionally. Is a throw behind his intended receiver from Stavi, incomplete. Brian Wozniak, the tight end, couldn't pull it in. So it'll be 2nd down and 10 with 11:45 to go in the 4th quarter. And now you wonder if Illinois' defense can make one last stand here and get their team the football back, down by 2 scores. So they're going to need maximum amount of time. And of course, every first down bleeds another 2 minutes off the clock.
But I will say this, Wisconsin's inability to run the ball really hurts their chances to close out games too, because they can't milk that clock.
Play action for Stavi. He wants the home run. Abradaris behind the defense. Touchdown.
With a play action pass, here's Abradaris. Watch him run a post route. Wide open. Look at the safeties for Illinois. Come up on that play action, and he is about as open as you get. 3rd time is the charm for Wisconsin's pass game. They missed on a couple big ones earlier, but that time, Joel Stavi hits Abradaris perfectly in stride. Wisconsin looking to close this game out.
5th touchdown catch of the season for the former walk-on, Jared Abradaris. He is number 2 in the Big Ten in touchdown catches coming into today. And for Stavi, his 4th touchdown pass of the year. The screen to James White earlier. And the home run to Abradaris there. And we have one of our officials down. So the training staff taking a look.
But that former walk-on to former walk-on right there. Jared Abradaris wasn't heavily recruited out of high school. There's a look at some of the walk-ons on this team. Jared Abradaris with a touchdown pass there. Joel Stavi, the redshirt freshman at quarterback. Pretty impressive the way they develop walk-ons here. And Brett Bielema finding those guys, giving them opportunities, and then not just, giving them some face time, but letting them actually become impact players and developing those guys. Really impressive.
We talked to Brett Bielema about a walk-on tradition that was really begun here when Barry Alvarez first came from Nebraska. And they have had 73 walk-ons since 1990 that have earned scholarships, which is a great story in and of itself. But it's the diamonds in the rough that they find even amongst those walk-ons. 11 of the 73 walk-ons have gone on to become team captains. 13 of those walk-ons have played in the NFL.
It's amazing. It really is. And, it helps it increases your ability to find diamonds in the rough, because you'll get guys more willing to take a chance. Say, oh, yeah, you know what? I could maybe go play at some D2 school or, a lesser known program. But, they've seen other walk-ons come to Wisconsin have some success. It inspires them to give it a chance.
It looks like the linesman Kelly Salfeld is being brought off the field on the cart. So we have lost one of our officials. And Kyle French will attempt the point after to try and make it 24-7 Wisconsin. Hooked it, but somehow got it through. So it is indeed 24-7 Wisconsin. And when you sell out to stop the run, sometimes it's play action over the top.
When you've got a guy, Jared Abradaris, nice setup, went at the safety like he was going to block him, then whoop, went right by him.
You're watching ESPN College Football on ABC, presented by Buffalo Wild Wings.
An aerial look at the Jared Abbrederis touchdown from a moment ago, provided by the MetLife blimp. See how MetLife can provide the coverage you need. MetLife, I can do this. Unfortunately, Steve Hull, safety for Illinois, did not provide the coverage that the Illini needed. Bit on the play action fake. And Danny, there's Jared Abbrederis behind the defense.
Beautiful call. Great execution by this Wisconsin team.
And now really a deep hole for Illinois, as they are going to be well out of their comfort zone offensively. Ferguson, kickoff return. Nifty move out to about the 25-yard line, but now it's going to have to be the aerial show with Nathan Shieldhouse. A lot of time left. You're down 3 scores for a team that only has 1 score through the first 3+ quarters, as Bucky the Badger starts to get a little more active with his push-ups. And but 11.5 minutes to go. If you had an offense that could give you some explosion plays, the game wouldn't necessarily be over.
Well, they're going to have to start working some of the perimeter, getting their receivers more involved. They've been pretty quiet. Nathan Shieldhouse had a nice game with his legs, but only 98 yards passing.
Shieldhouse, a check down. Getting to the edge is Spencer Harris. Lost the ball on his way out of bounds. Might have lost a yard as a result, but it is a first down to the 36-yard line for the Illini.
And just by default alone, by where they are in the game right now, you will see some receivers starting to get more involved. That time it was Spencer Harris. So you got to start taking some more shots, too, down the field to that guy, Ryan Langford.
Shieldhouse wants the screen. He finds Donovan Young, and Young is found quickly by a gang of red-shirted tacklers. Desmond Southward led the charge, a loss of a couple. And the Illini have to pick up the pace now. It's going to wind down to 11 minutes to go, and you can't be snapping the ball with 10 on the play clock.
No, you don't have to go you don't have to go crazy, but you definitely have to play with a sense of urgency, getting up to that line of scrimmage quick.
Spencer Harris, about 3 yards shy of the first down. As we go back to Robert Flores.
Hey, Bob, check out what's going on in the Big 12, where Stanford had beaten Arizona 4-5 coming in, but the Wildcats, Matt Scott to Terrence Miller. And right now, Arizona leading 41-30. Check that, 48-34 in the Pac-12.
Well, Robert, our team's looking for some of that offense here.
Number 76, 5-yard penalty. The down remains 3rd.
And a big snap infraction called on Grant Posick, the center for the Illini, as now 3rd and 3 becomes 3rd and 8. And what you have to think is probably 4 down territory at this point. Down 3 scores coming up on 10 minutes to go, even on your side of the 50. Dan, you have to go for it at this point on 4th down if you come up short here, don't you?
I'm not so sure about that. I think they might try to punt this one away. But obviously, they'd love to get the first here.
Again, a 4-man rush. Shieldhouse bullets one over the middle. Caught right at the first down marker and stopped short. John Davis, the tight end. It's going to be 4th down and a yard. And
now you're in this situation, you give it a shot. Absolutely. On the ground, pushing the midfield line. And they're not even thinking about it here.
Yeah, this has to be a no-brainer, down 3 scores. And it certainly is for Tim Beckman, as he will leave his offense on the field to go for it on 4th down and 1. Hand off to Ferguson. Did he get there? Second effort might have gotten him the first down. It depends on the spot. Bo Allen, first in the hole to try and stop Josh Ferguson, and looks like it might be a first down without measurement.
Ferguson, he just found a tiny little window in that defense, leaned forward, lunged for that first down.
Shieldhouse, wide open on the near sideline is Malines. Stays in bounds and picks up about 6.
Boy, but if you are right there on the sideline, just hop out of bounds. Don't stop the clock. You know you're in a sense of urgency. You need every second of this game in your favor. If you're sitting on the sideline, I know you want to grab extra yards. Just hop out of bounds. Stop that clock.
Obviously, they'll start the clock again on the ready for play, but it saves maybe 12 to 15 seconds, which is big. Shieldhouse under pressure. Can't avoid the rush. Pat Muldoon Another sack for Wisconsin and a loss of about 4.
Pat Muldoon just came off the edge there. Just found his way around the left tackle, kept getting after it. Shieldhouse hung on to it just a hair too long.
You can see Pat Muldoon playing with that clubbed left hand as he was out last week with a broken hand, but able to come back this week, gets the sack, and now it's 3rd down and 9. Here comes the blitz. Under pressure, Shieldhouse. Pops one over the middle, and he finds Malines to the 31-yard line of Wisconsin. Gain of 21 to Darius Malines, and that will stop the clock for just a moment. Just over 8 minutes to go.
Wisconsin brought a zone blitz, meaning they brought some linebackers but played zone behind it. Shieldhouse was able to buy extra time, elude that first wave of pressure, and get the ball down the field.
Slant left, dropped by Malines. It'll be 2nd down and 10. That last play, though, Danny, I think feeds into what you were talking about with Shieldhouse earlier. One of the first times today we've seen him have happy feet in the pocket, but then settle down, find a receiver in the midst of the rush, as opposed to just taking it and running.
Well, he's blessed with so much athleticism that you want to do some things. You want to take it yourself and make a play. Sometimes, though, it's better off to let your teammates work for you.
This time Shieldhouse might run. Nope, pops it over the middle. Caught by Spencer Harris. And he's down close to the 10-yard line.
And that's a perfect example. When you truly are a dual threat, teams have to respect your ability to run the football. So when you pressure that line, the defense freezes because they don't know. They think you're going to run it. But if you pass it over their heads like you did there, you can get a lot of yards making plays like that.
He might have gotten away with one. He was very close to being across the line of scrimmage when he threw that football. So now it's 1st and 10 at the 11. Shieldhouse floats one in the back of the end zone, and he can't hook up with Spencer Harris.
Boy, almost. Spencer Harris ran a little stutter route, thought he was going to come across the field, and then just ran to the back of the end zone. And look at this, just off the fingertips of Harris. Look at that. Oh, needs a little more stickum on those gloves. Almost an incredible one-handed grab.
Hard to believe we've only had 2 red zone possessions today in total between these two teams. Shieldhouse inside the 10 down to about the 8-yard line where it will be 3rd down. Chris Borland made the stop after a scrambling gain of 3 for Shieldhouse.
Well, you can tell Wisconsin very aware of Shieldhouse in that backfield. As soon as he starts looking around for places to run, Wisconsin closes really fast on him, which of course opens up some passing lanes behind him.
The Illini can pick up a 1st down inside the 1. 13th play of the drive here, 3rd down and 7. Shieldhouse being chased backwards. Back of the end zone. Coming free is Langford. He's got it for the touchdown. And a little life breathed back into the game by Illinois.
Boy, what a threat Shieldhouse is. Think you have a sack, think you're defending guys for a long time. He bought so much time in that backfield. Shieldhouse, watch him survey the field, looks right. Here you think you possibly have a sack, buys some time, but then does a great job keeping his eyes down the field, finding Langford in the back of the end zone.
5th touchdown reception of the season for Ryan Langford, and one of the first impactful plays he's made today. The extra point good for Zaleski. And it's a 10-point game now, a 13-play, 75-yard touchdown drive for the Illini as we take another look at Langford.
If you have a dual threat, you have to constantly work to get open. That's exactly what Langford does and pays off with the easy touchdown.
A look at Camp Randall through the years. One of the great spots, college football tradition, one of the great atmospheres in the Big Ten as well. Wisconsin has won 19 in a row at home. 2nd longest home winning streak active right now to LSU's 21. The last time Wisconsin lost at home was to Iowa back in October of 2009. They've won 10 consecutive Big Ten home games. And they are 42-3 in this building under Brett Bielema. So there's a lot going against Illinois right now, besides the fact that Illinois is down by 10 on the scoreboard. Of course, a moment ago, Illinois was down by 17. Denzel Doe is deep to receive the kick, but it looks as if Wisconsin is guarding against the onside kick. And now the ball rolls off the tee. Would you onside kick here if you were Illinois?
That is a great question.
It's a gray area.
It is a gray area.
6.5 minutes to go. You've got your timeouts.
You've got all your timeouts, and you've got a Wisconsin team who has struggled to run the football. You know, your defense, I think you kick it away.
And if you do kick it away, there's no one back deep to receive.
Right.
You might be able to scramble down there and grab the football. And instead they'll bunt it forward, trying for the onside kick. And Abrederis fields the ground ball. So Tim Beckman rolls the dice on the onside kick, and Wisconsin ends up with great field position. Well, we've got 3 top 10 teams tonight on college football primetime. First at 7, Aaron Murray, and number 5 Georgia will take on number 6 South Carolina. What a battle that'll be in the SEC at 7. And then we go to the Pac-12. Number 23 Washington taking on the second-ranked Ducks at 10:30. Primetime college football presented by Hampton Hotels tonight on ESPN and also live on Watch ESPN as well.
Well, that Georgia-South Carolina game is going to determine the SEC East. That'll be a lot of fun to watch.
That should be a war. Running room for Monte Ball and a gain of about 8, maybe 9 yards on first down. As we take a look at the second half drives for Wisconsin, and a little more ball control and obviously more production on the scoreboard.
And don't forget, they missed 2 touchdown passes possibly in this second half. So some nice adjustments by offensive coordinator Matt Canada, making some adjustments on this, letting the clock play out here on this last drive, but able to kind of settle down. There was never a sense of panic for Wisconsin in this game at all.
And a lot of composure, managing the clock here. The redshirt freshman quarterback Joel Stabby lets the play clock wind down to about 5 seconds before handing once again on a little cutback to Monte Ball, and he's got a first down to the 30-yard line, a gain of 7 more for Ball.
Traditionally, this is where Wisconsin you'd think would excel. This is where they close people out. They keep it on the ground. Hey, everybody knows we're going to run it. We're coming at you. You will not stop us. So it'll be good for Wisconsin kind of to get this under their belt and gain some confidence with that running game.
Well, Brett Bielema has such a young football team. Only 9 scholarship seniors on this Wisconsin team. 50 freshmen, 28 sophomores, and 9 seniors. Caught behind the line and losing a yard is Ball. Steve Hull made the stop, and we check in with Robert Flores.
Hey, Bob, we're at the bottom of the hour. Here's what's happening on SportsCenter right now, presented by HP. Florida's Mike Gillislee has a couple of touchdowns, and that's the difference. Is number 10 leading number 4 Florida, LSU rather, 14-6 in the fourth quarter at the Swamp. Meantime, ACC on ESPN, number 15 Clemson starting to open things up against Georgia Tech. Taj Boyd to DeAndre Hopkins. They went for 2 and got it. Then they just got a safety. They've extended the lead even further. Bob?
Wow, so a shootout in the ACC and anything but here in the Big Ten, as Chase Hammond is brought down 3 yards shy of a first down by Eaton Spence. And now we've got an injury as well, and this looks like a player that you can ill afford to lose. Tim Kennard starting at defensive end today opposite Michael Buchanan. So with 4.5 minutes to go, a big third down play upcoming, but Kennard still down. And now the training staff is able to roll him over. Well, coming to ABC, when you're the queen of the charts, there's always someone looking to replace you. The riveting new drama from the writer of Thelma and Louise. ABC's Nashville. The drama begins Wednesday, October 10th.
Kennard, good to see him running off the field.
Well, this is the game right now for Illinois. You're down by 10. You have all your timeouts. 4:24 to go. Having said that, though, your only chance to keep it a 2-possession game and maybe force a field goal attempt or even get a stop is to hold on third down here.
Yep. And for Wisconsin, an opportunity to really close this game out with a first down.
Now, if you are Illinois, are you selling out to stop the run? Are you bringing 8 up near the line of scrimmage?
I would personally, yes. You're going against a redshirt freshman, make him beat you.
Although he did on their last possession.
He did, but you still got to play the odds.
Clock winds under 4 minutes to go. 3rd down and 3. Right up the gut. An easy first down for Montee Ball. Well, that looked like Wisconsin football.
It did, absolutely. In Illinois, they took the choice of, hey, let's try to stop them with our front 7. Wisconsin, a nice job on the ground. Open it up for Montee Ball. See the second half, much better than the first half.
Only the second 3rd down conversion allowed by Illinois' defense today, and what a time to allow it, as now Illinois has to start spending their timeouts. Wisconsin was 1 for 9 on 3rd down before that conversion, and they went right up the middle, and now they forced the Illini to use their timeouts.
One of the reasons they were 1 for 9 on the day before that was because they've faced so many long, 3rd and 7 or more. And that's what happens when your run game struggles. You get off schedule. You don't get a 2nd down and 7 and then a 3rd down and 3. They face way too many 2nd down and 12, 2nd down and 10s, and it just gets them off schedule, and that's not what they're used to.
Biggest game so far in the Big Ten this year coming up tonight. There are the Noles taking on Tom O'Brien's NC State Wolfpack tonight. ESPN 2 at 8 p.m. So ranked teams playing all over the place tonight on our ESPN networks. And now in the red zone is Wisconsin, and Illinois in the mode of using their timeouts. There goes Montee Ball to cap it. 2nd rushing touchdown of the game for Ball. Montee Ball moves past Torian Henderson. And he is tied for 3rd now, all-time career touchdowns.
Well, Maria said he wasn't smiling earlier in the game. He could smile now.
31-14. There were only 2 players in the country that were Heisman finalists last year and were coming back this year in college football. Montee Ball, one of the 2, and there goes Bucky. Bucky Badger heading up the stairs through the student section to plant flag number 8. 8 rushing touchdowns on the season now for Montee Ball.
Here's one more look at the touchdown run. See the fullback coming, leading the way. Nice block on the linebacker, and then look at all that room to run to for Montee Ball. And the great thing about Montee Ball is we talk to the coaches, and they've had their struggles. As Bucky the Badger makes his way up to the top.
Well, it's tough when the student section's leaving.
Yeah.
They in the hallways.
The great thing about Montee Ball is his attitude. The coaches, hey, everybody's seen how much this Wisconsin team has struggled to run the ball. They said he hasn't complained one bit. Kept his work ethic, kept the positive attitude, and good to see it pay off for him this afternoon.
Bouncing kick ends up with Ferguson inside the 10, and now he is heading in the wrong direction. This game has gone in the wrong direction for Illinois. Connor O'Neill makes the stop on special teams as Wisconsin scored 1 touchdown in their first 9 possessions today. They've scored touchdowns now on their last 3 possessions to put 31 points up on the board.
Sometimes that's all it takes to find your rhythm. Gain a little bit of confidence, a belief in what you're doing. They've had their struggles. There have been some, I'm sure there's been some head scratching by this Wisconsin team, and now to be able to come out with a performance like this, maybe they can take that and propel themselves into the later half of the season.
Shieldhouse from the 1-yard line. Under pressure, pocket collapsing, and now he's looking for the rush. And he lost the ball. It looks like Wisconsin might have it. No, they'll say it looks like Shieldhouse may have grabbed it underneath the pile as Bo Allen ripped it free. He gets the strip sack, but Shieldhouse came up with his own fumble. And he is shaken up a bit. And you wonder now if Tim Beckman might want to get Nathan Shieldhouse out of the game.
I mean, he's been battling injuries all year long. Such a centerpiece of this offense. Don't want to lose him in some cheap time like this.
Well, they have to go to the Big House next week to take on Michigan. And they don't want to go to take on Denard Robinson and the Wolverines without their starting quarterback. From the end zone, Shieldhouse bullets one, tipped and incomplete through the hands of John Davis. Ethan Armstrong knocked it away as we're going to advance Wisconsin to 1-1 and give them the win. So here are the updated Big Ten standings, and how wide open is this conference going to be? And how about Penn State? What a job by Bill O'Brien as you start off the season with some demoralizing losses, but now you've bounced back and win your first 2 conference games as you beat an undefeated Northwestern team today and you trounce Illinois on the road last week. Shieldhouse throws it to Noah. Let's go down to Maria.
Yeah, guys, just an update on Terry Hawthorne. They tell me that he's just undergone a CT scan. The results are not back yet, but he is still alert and still has movement, guys.
All right, thank you, Maria.
That is good news to hear from Terry Hawthorne. Of course, we saw the vicious hit he sustained earlier in the game. Always a good sign when he's able to move everything around.
Duvernois from the back of the end zone. Rugby-style kick. And bounces it out towards midfield. Abradaris will let it roll, and it takes a great Illinois roll. We've also received further clarification on Terry Hawthorne. He is awake at the hospital. He is moving all of his extremities. So the updates continue to come in on Terry Hawthorne, cornerback for Illinois, that was taken off the field on a stretcher and taken off the field in an ambulance earlier after he had a big collision with Derek Watt, fullback for Wisconsin. He lay motionless on the field for a short period of time, then gave the thumbs up as we saw him get loaded into the ambulance, and now it seems like the news gets more and more positive the more reports we get from the hospital. Monte Ball gets to the sideline. Down the sideline, and the yardage totals start to pile up a bit for Monte Ball. A big second half.
And the alertness to stay in bounds there when they're trying to run out the clock. And here's a look at the final stats on the day. A little closer, not final just yet. Still with Monte Ball, ability to go over 100 yards rushing. How about Joel Stave? Stave, you can see what they like about him too. He's a big, physical, prototypical Big Ten quarterback. Really impressed with the way he's handled himself today.
Well, rather than take a knee, it looks like Wisconsin is going to continue to feed their franchise back, and there he goes.
Get him over 100.
Over 100 yards, down to about the 28-yard line. So Monte Ball had 12 yards rushing at halftime, and now he is over 100 in the game in total. And this will take us down under a minute to go. How much of a factor, Danny, do you think Wisconsin's going to be as the Big Ten season plays out?
Well, I think from just the standings there of what we saw.
Ball again. Hit from behind, inside the 20, down to the 18-yard line.
I think what we saw out of that leaders division, when you look at the top, I mean, the 2 top teams sitting up there right now are ineligible to play. So I think Wisconsin's going to play a huge factor.
Most of the higher level teams that Wisconsin plays on their schedule the rest of the way as well, they play at home. They still have Michigan State and Ohio State at home. They have to go to Purdue next week. And Purdue's defense will pose problems. And they also have road games left at Indiana and at Penn State.
Purdue just got beat today.
And Wisconsin will polish off a 31-14 win over Illinois. So the Illini dropped their first 2 games to start off the Big Ten schedule under their new head coach, Tim Beckman. But Brett Bielema's team bounces back after losing a 17-point lead on the road at Nebraska. in the third quarter to lose 30-27 in Lincoln on Saturday night. They come back a week later. Montee Ball scores a couple of touchdowns, and the Badgers will win it. And we go down to Maria with the winning coach.
Coach Ball had 12 yards in the first half and finished with over 100. What changed for him to make him more effective in the second half?
Well, I think he just found a little rhythm. He's been right there all year, and this was a game I think we kind of broke through, made some strides really in all phases.
What other phases do you think you made some strides in?
Well, you know, the big thing is in the first half we killed ourselves with some penalties, but our guys kind of got back to enjoying football. It was good. Obviously, the first game in the Leaders Division race here, and now a big one this week going on the road to Purdue.
And what does this give you looking forward to that Purdue game?
You know what? We've been a team that's gotten better every week, and this is a big example here to be the tight game at the half to kind of put it away here at the end. This is kind of Wisconsin football.
All right, thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
All right, Maria, thanks very much. Jared Abbrederis ended up putting up some pretty big numbers. A long touchdown catch that helped put Wisconsin well in front, and they win it 31-14. Now, let's head back to the studio.